Easter Sunday, 2017. While families gathered for celebration, a 74-year-old grandfather walked the streets of Cleveland, collecting aluminum cans to make ends meet. Within minutes, his life would end. Within hours, millions would witness his final moments. And within 48 hours, the entire world would be hunting his killer. This is the story of how social media became both the weapon and the solution in one of America's most disturbing crimes. Robert Godwin Sr. was everything a grandfather should be. Father of 10 children, grandfather to 14. A man who worked 40 years in the foundries of Cleveland, his hands callous from honest labor. Even in retirement, he refused to sit idle. Every day, rain or shine, he'd walk the neighborhood collecting cans, not because he had to, but because that's who he was. A man who believed in work, in contribution, in staying active. His daughter Debbie remembers him as the heart of their family. "My father taught us to love people and to forgive even when they do us wrong," she would later say. But on April 16, 2017, Robert's kindness would make him a target. The man behind the screen. Steve Stevens seemed like the last person you'd suspect of violence. At 37 years old, he was a vocational specialist at Beachbrook, a behavioral health agency working with troubled children and families. No criminal record. No red flags in his personal file. Neighbors described him as pleasant. Friends called him generous and kind. His attorney remembered him as respectful and well-mannered. But beneath the surface, something was unraveling. Stevens had filed for bankruptcy in 2015, his attorney noting serious gambling problems. By Easter weekend 2017, he'd lost everything to his addiction. His relationship with his girlfriend Joy Lane was crumbling. He'd quit his job. He told his mother he was moving out of state. And then, in his own words recorded on video, "I just snapped." The timeline of April 16, 2017 reads like a nightmare unfolding in real time. Every minute mattered. Every second brought new horror to light. What happened next would spark a debate about social media that continues today. The video Stevens uploaded showed him approaching Robert Godwin, asking the elderly man to repeat his girlfriend's name, then saying, "She's the reason this is about to happen to you," before pulling the trigger. Robert Godwin didn't know Joy Lane. He had no connection to Stevens whatsoever. He was chosen at random, a complete stranger picked to die because one man's life had fallen apart. The video remained on Facebook for 3 hours. 3 full hours while it spread across the internet like wildfire. Facebook said it took the video down 23 minutes after being notified, but the damage was done. Millions had seen it. Robert's grandson Ryan begged on Twitter, please stop retweeting that video and report anyone who has posted it. That is my grandfather, show some respect." But the internet had already made its choice. The aftermath was immediate and devastating. As the video went viral, panic spread across Cleveland and beyond. The psychological impact rippled through communities, raising urgent questions about our digital age. The 48-hour manhunt. The numbers tell the story of a nation mobilized. Law enforcement launched one of the most intensive manhunts in recent American history. Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams addressed the media with urgency in his voice. "This is what we would consider a national search for Steve. We are not going to leave any stone unturned." The FBI joined the investigation. U.S. Marshals mobilized. Electronic billboards across 5 states displayed Stevens' description. Pennsylvania, New York, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio were on high alert. But Stevens had essentially vanished. Police managed to speak with him by cell phone on Sunday shortly after the shooting, trying desperately to convince him to surrender. Then, nothing. No contact. No sightings that panned out. His phone had pinged near Erie, Pennsylvania on Sunday evening, then went dark. For nearly 48 hours, one of the most wanted men in America simply disappeared. Authorities began to wonder if he was even alive. Tuesday morning, April 18, 2017. The crew at a McDonald's in Harbor Creek Township, just outside Erie, Pennsylvania, was setting up for the lunch rush. Just another ordinary day. Or so they thought. Around 11 a.m., a white Ford Fusion pulled into the drive-thru. The man ordered a 20-piece chicken McNugget and fries. But something caught the attention of the drive-thru attendant. She recognized the face from the news. The wanted posters. The man every law enforcement agency in America was hunting. Without showing any sign of alarm, she processed his order. Then she made the call that would end the manhunt. Pennsylvania State Police received the tip. The McDonald's employees, thinking fast, told Stevens his fries would take a few extra minutes, buying precious time for police to arrive. But Stevens was impatient. "I have to go," he said, grabbing his nuggets and driving off. The moment that defined the case came down to two choices made in an instant. Pennsylvania State Police spotted Stevens pulling out of the McDonald's parking lot. Gail Wheeler was stopped at a light when she saw Stevens come whipping out of the parking lot, nearly hitting her car. State troopers weren't far behind. She followed the chase, 2 miles through Wesleyville, heading westbound. At the corner of Buffalo Road and Downing Avenue in Erie, police executed a tactical maneuver. They clipped Stevens' rear bumper. His car spun 180 degrees and came to rest against the curb. Police approached, weapons drawn. And then, a single gunshot rang out. Steve Stevens had taken his own life. The manhunt was over. This started with one tragedy and ended with another person taking their own life. Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams. The end of the manhunt brought no joy. Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams said what everyone was thinking: "We would have liked to have brought Steve in peacefully and really talked to him about why this happened." Robert Godwin's daughter Debbie expressed a sentiment that shocked many. She wasn't happy Stevens was dead. "I'm not happy he's dead at all. If you did it, you have to face your crime," she said. But then she added something that showed the incredible grace her father had taught her: "I truly can say I don't even feel any animosity against the guy that killed my father. I'm glad that my parents taught us to love people and to forgive even when they do us wrong. My dad would be the kind of person that would say, 'You gotta forgive.'" Her words echoed the values Robert Godwin had lived by: love and forgiveness, even in the face of unspeakable tragedy. Robert Godwin Sr. left behind a legacy that far outweighed the darkness of his final moments. He was remembered not as a victim, but as a father, grandfather, friend, and pillar of his community. The Facebook question. The case ignited fierce debate about social media's responsibility. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg addressed the tragedy at a Silicon Valley conference, admitting, "We have a lot of work to do and we will keep doing all we can to prevent tragedies like this." But many felt it wasn't enough. The numbers behind content moderation reveal the massive scale of the challenge social media platforms face every single day. The case raised questions that still haunt us: where is the line between free speech and public safety? In the years since, Facebook has implemented new policies. They've expanded their content moderation teams. They've developed AI systems to detect violent content faster. But the fundamental question remains: can any platform truly police content at the scale of billions of users? Some argue that platforms should be held legally liable for violent content shared on their sites. Others worry about censorship and who gets to decide what's acceptable. The debate continues, with no easy answers. What's clear is that the Steve Stevens case changed how we think about social media's role in crime. It's no longer just a platform for sharing vacation photos and baby pictures. It's become a tool for both committing crimes and solving them. The same technology that allowed millions to witness a murder also helped capture the killer within 48 hours. The McDonald's employees who helped capture Stevens were recognized for their quick thinking and bravery. Their actions represented the best of humanity in response to the worst. Today, Robert Godwin Sr.'s family continues to honor his memory through love and forgiveness. They've established scholarships in his name. They've spoken publicly about healing and moving forward. And they've embodied the very values Robert taught them, to love people, even when they do wrong. The balloons that marked the spot where he fell have long since faded. But his legacy endures. Not as a victim of senseless violence, but as a man who lived with dignity, worked with pride, and loved without condition. Steve Stevens' girlfriend Joy Lane broke her silence days after the tragedy, describing Stevens as the nice guy who was generous with everyone he knows. She couldn't reconcile the man she knew with the monster who pulled the trigger. Perhaps that's the most disturbing lesson of all, that evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it wears a friendly face right up until the moment it doesn't. Number 3 on our list of key takeaways: social media platforms must balance freedom with responsibility. The Facebook killer case exposed the danger of unmoderated content spreading at viral speed. While we value free speech online, there must be systems in place to prevent the glorification and spread of violence. Number 2, ordinary citizens can be extraordinary heroes. The McDonald's employees who recognized Stevens and bought time for police showed incredible presence of mind. Their quick thinking and calm actions under pressure directly led to the resolution of the manhunt. We never know when we'll be called upon to do the right thing, but their example shows that everyday heroism is real and powerful. And number 1, the most powerful response to hate is love. In the face of unspeakable tragedy, the Godwin family chose forgiveness. They honored their father's memory not with vengeance, but with grace. Debbie Godwin's words, "I don't even feel any animosity against the guy that killed my father," represent a strength most of us can barely imagine. That's Robert Godwin's true legacy. Not the violence that took his life, but the love that defined it. So was justice served? Steve Stevens never faced trial. The families never got their day in court. But within 48 hours of one of the most publicized murders in modern history, law enforcement, technology, and everyday citizens came together to end the manhunt. The McDonald's in Erie, Pennsylvania became an unlikely hero in this story. Social media, so often criticized for spreading violence, also mobilized the nation to stop a killer. And a family, shattered by loss, showed us what true strength looks like. Robert Godwin Sr. deserved so much better than his final moments. But his life, 74 years of hard work, unconditional love, and unwavering faith, that's what we should remember. The Facebook killer case changed how we think about crime in the digital age. It exposed vulnerabilities in our social networks and our society. But it also revealed resilience, heroism, and the enduring power of forgiveness. Rest in peace, Robert Godwin Sr., 1942-2017. This has been Docket. If you believe justice was served, hit that like button. If you want more disturbing cases that shock the world, subscribe and turn on notifications. Drop a comment telling us which case we should investigate next. Thank you for watching, and remember, in a world where evil can go viral in seconds, it's up to all of us to make sure justice spreads even faster. Stay safe out there.